Welcome back to Raw Woman Energy. This is your girl Talisha, and hi. So I uploaded an audio podcast about talking about how the way I ended up moving on and just trying to grow and change and become a better me. And so this topic is a little personal. It's a little in my feelings type of thing, but I feel like this video is well needed because I feel like there's a lot of women out there who go through all different type of things when it comes to relationships, self-identity, and then also trying to be in a space to where they're trying to find themselves and trying to, grow and let go of the things that try to hinder them and hold them back. So today's topic, if you see me look like this, because I'm looking down at my screen here because I have everything typed up. So yeah, you have my undivided attention. So today's topic is the version of me that survived heartbreak, moving on and becoming her. So becoming her is not a statement in saying I'm becoming this fancy this version of myself that is supposed to represent feminine energy, but it's more so just becoming the version of myself that I forgot about, the version of myself that I put in the dark and shelter her out and didn't give her any air and didn't show her any love. And I was suffocating her through trying to find or be loved through someone else or something else, or just trying to be in this space to where I felt like I needed an approval. I felt like I needed, recognition from other people versus myself. And so that is what today's episode is all about. So this is part one. There are 4 parts to this story. And so this is part 1, and this is heartbreak, the version that broke. Okay, because Lord knows it was a journey for me to get to this point, for me to get to a place in my life where nothing truly bothers me. Like, I do cry. I do be in spaces to where, like, I'm questioning some of the decisions that I made in the past and trying to move forward in the future, but that's normal. So don't feel like, oh, you're doing good and you're making it, but something is still trying to hold you down. It's okay. It's okay that the past still sometimes try to revisit you, because it's going to do that just to see how comfortable you are in the new shoes that you're wearing. So we're going to talk about first what heartbreak took from me, emotionally, mentally, and physically. So my heartbreak came in the form of a long-term relationship. And in this long-term relationship, I end up having 4 babies by this individual. And the heartbreak was more so the infidelity, the lies, the scandals, not being upfront about the things that he wanted versus the things that I was in delusion about. And also in denial about as well. So I went into this relationship fresh out of high school. I'm talking about graduated, walking across the stage, not knowing that I was pregnant. Okay. And I'm in this relationship based on, I want to say, because I was pregnant, because I felt like that was what was tying us together. Now, in the beginning, I didn't feel like that. I felt like it was love. I felt like, this is something that is supposed to be happening. I felt like, I'm young. I can't believe, I'm going to have my first child. Thank God it's after high school. And it is what it is. That's the space that I was in mentally. So we moved in with his granny, and in the point of me moving in with his granny, I was playing this role of wife. I was playing this role of confidant. I was playing this role of house, to where, if you needed me, I'm there. Cooking, I'm there. The cleaning part, I necessarily don't like to clean because that's just not my forte. But as I got older, I've learned. But in my younger days, cleaning was not a part of my nature because I was always that girl that was on the go. I never really was at home. I'm always that girl that, my friends call, I'm out the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't have that type of upbringing to where I had to, disclose information to my parents on where I'm going, because I was a really trustworthy kid. I wasn't really in no drama. I wasn't really in no mess. You know what I'm saying? So my dad was like, it's a whole nother story, but my mom was just, in her own world that she had going on, and so was I. So I didn't have the luxury of being schooled and grilled on, what are you doing? You can't go out. You on punishment. You're grounded. I didn't have that. I had, all right, see you when I see you. So that's just the type of girl that I was, but I was very also responsible with those privileges. I was very responsible. And with those privileges, you know what I'm saying, it never really dawned on me how to prepare for motherhood or how to prepare to be someone's wife. You know what I'm saying? My mom was married and still is married, but in the midst before her and my dad split, they were together for like 15 years. So in the midst of them being together, I seen the cooking part, I seen the cleaning part, but I never dreamt of that type of lifestyle when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I dreamt about running my own business. I dreamt about doing this, being on the go. That was my type of thing. So being someone's wife was never really a thing for me, but I did have the thing of, if I do, this is how I would picture it. And it wasn't the picture that was in front of me as far as like the model, I would say. And so going into the relationship, I did lack certain things when it came down to, I guess, feminism and womanhood, because I wasn't that type of girl. So in the midst of that relationship, infidelity started to take place. Now, I don't know if it came down to the point of because I just wasn't that type of girl, or if it was the fact of him just wanting something more, something broader, something, you know what I'm saying, that men like, you know, like, I don't know. I don't know what was his reason for cheating. I don't necessarily know that. But what I do know is that I chose to stay in that relationship because I did not want my child to grow up in a household that was a one-parent household, because that's not the way that I envisioned it as a child, or the image that I had in front of me as a child. So, to make the long story short, my heart continued to get broken in the relationship. The lies, the cheating, and also the not being upfront part that we discussed earlier. So I believe that I was delusional in the whole situation, because I believe that I was losing a relationship versus losing, I guess I was losing a relationship, but also losing myself in the relationship. And so when we talk about losing a relationship versus losing myself, I started to slowly decrease who I was to make the individual happy based on the fact of what I envisioned as a home for a child. And in the midst of me envisioning this home for a child, I started having more babies. So it became harder for me to walk away. And so I guess for the most part, in the midst of it being harder for me to walk away, I started to lose myself. And I started to lose my identity of the things that I had in stone for me before. I was trying to be someone's girlfriend, or trying to be someone's wife, or, you know, trying to be someone's mother. And I started losing those parts of myself, and I forgot who I was. I forgot what it is that I wanted to do. I forgot the dreams and the visions that I wanted to embark on in life, I started to forget all of it. And as I sit here in this position now, and I know I'm jumping way ahead to part 4, but as I sit in this position now, I am thankful and grateful for those experiences, but I am also in this space to where I don't allow BS to take place inside of my life. I don't allow disrespect. I don't allow boundaries to continue to be crossed over and over and over again, because I have dealt with that for 5+ years with an individual that did not respect me, and I did not respect myself. So when we talk about losing a relationship versus losing myself, I was scared to lose the relationship based on the fact of me wanting to keep the image of what it was that I was giving my child versus holding on to who I was so that I do not lose myself, which is the most important thing that I could give my child, is teach my children how to stay you, how to continue to be authentically you, how to continue to love yourself and put yourself first and not feel like you have to get lost behind a man because you're afraid of something being lost. You're afraid of losing something that truly never really existed. This whole relationship that I created inside of my head was completely different from the reality of what I was living. I was living inside of a relationship that continuously broke me and hurt me and tried to destroy me as an individual for their own self-pleasures. Now, I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if it was a vendetta behind the situations of him cheating. But what I did know is that when the first cheating was confronted, I'm about to say correctly, confronted, it continued to happen. So in my mind, I had it made up that you are now intentionally trying to hurt me because you already know that the first cheating hurted me. And so I started to lose myself because I don't accept cheaters. I've never accepted cheaters. Once you cheat on me, I'm gone. I'm out the door. I don't want nothing to do with you. But it was harder for me because I had a family with this person and I kind of felt like it was being taken advantage of, and I knew it, but I kept allowing it. I kept allowing it and losing parts of myself, all because I was thinking of the children versus thinking of myself first. And when we talk about putting ourselves first, my children ask me, they're like, Mom, do you love me or do you love yourself first? And I always tell my children, I love me. I love me first, baby. I do. And then I love you. Because if I don't love me first, how can I know how to love you? So knowing how to love me first allowed me to be able to take those steps and take those moments that was happening to me and analyze those moments and reflect on those moments and sit down with myself and say, do I rather lose this relationship or do I rather lose myself? And I chose I'd rather lose the relationship versus losing myself. So that's on that part. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all, but I can't explain how, liberated I feel being in this space of not being with no one. It's been 4 years since I've laid down with another man. It's been 4 years since I've decided to take these, moments of just being with myself and not give myself to another individual, because it's quick to lose yourself and it's so hard to find yourself all over again. It's so hard because you have to sit with yourself and you have to look at yourself in the mirror and you have to say to yourself, girl, you chose that life. You chose to be in that moment. You liked it. You chose to be in it. Even if you didn't like it, you still chose it. So you can't really continue to keep blaming a person. You have to at some point take some type of accountability for the fact of you chose to stay in that moment. And so having my character and having all parts of myself like trying to manipulate and trying to be narcissistic and trying to make it seem like, oh, it's because you don't do this and oh, it's because you don't do that. I've always said to myself and always said to the individual, if I'm such a problem, why come you just won't leave? And he would just look at me, he would just sit there and he would just stare. And then I will also reflect on those same words. And the only thing that I can come up with, the reason why I'm staying, is for my children. And as time went on, I started to learn that I never fully loved the individual. I just loved the fact of what I had, what I could possibly create, what I could possibly increase, whether that's being this power couple or being this couple that, you know, beats all odds and ended up being together from all of these different type of things and striving forward and ended up, you know, I don't know, making a whole bunch of money together. Whatever it was that was inside of my mind, it was false because we were not on the same page. How pain changed the way you showed up as a woman and a mother. Oh man. Pain is pain. Pain is pain. But pain is also a teacher. Pain is also a what's the word I want to look for? Pain is, I'm just going to say teacher. Pain is a teacher. Pain is instruction. Pain is that thing that allows you to be able to recognize the nervous system when things happen that you have already been through, that allows you to be able to correct it so that you don't want to feel that type of pain again. Pain allowed me to show up as a mother as confident, as strong, as beautiful. I know all of my marks. I know all of my scars are beautiful because everything I have ever done, I have done it with love. I have done it with passion. Even if I wasn't in love with a person, and even if I didn't understand what it was that I was doing, everything I have ever done has always been genuine. It has always been with the grace of my heart. And and I think that in those moments when we reflect on pain and we reflect on all of that trauma, and we have to still show up and still look at our kids and still say, I have to continue to keep moving forward, that shows your strength. And that shows what true love really does look like, because you're ready to battle, you're ready to fight, and you're ready to go against the things that tried to knock you down. I've been called ugly. I've been called fat. I've been broken down to the point to where insecurities inserted itself inside of my mind, and I never knew what the word insecure was as a teen. I was secure within myself, and having a baby allows you to your body transforms, your boobs starts to sag, your stomach starts to get bigger, like all of these things, especially if you're on Depo, child. Whew. But I started to transform into this different person that I didn't know who she was. I gained over 200 pounds. I was just not myself. I was emotionally eating all the time. And I was being cheated on. And my heart was just full of cholesterol and heartbreak. So pain was that thing that I was trying to run from in the beginning and didn't want no parts of. But once I began to sit with myself and once I began to actually feel it, I began to say to myself, okay, I see what you're trying to show me, and I see what it is that you want me to recognize. And I guess this is what I have to do. I guess me leaving is what it is that I have to do. I guess me packing these bags and hitting the road is what it is that I have to do, because I was in a space to where I lost, I don't want to say I lost, but I'm going to say I started to kind of like lash out. Like I started to be in this space to where like the pain was so loud in my mind that I didn't know how to release it, because I'm so used to holding it in. I've never been that child to cry. I'm not a crier. I'm not a crier. I will hold it in as much as I can until my heart say, no! So, I'm not a crier. But I have learned to cry. I have learned to shed tears in order for me to move forward and to grow, because I've always been this girl that was so tough just based on my lifestyle. As a child, I grew up in the projects. I grew up, you know what I'm saying, always fighting. I grew up always trying to, whether I win, lose, or draw, baby, ain't no pea blood in me, okay? I'm going to stand whatever it is that you're trying to do. I'm not backing down and I'm not running. So it doesn't matter if you can fight. It doesn't matter if you feel like you got hands. I've never been that girl that's going to back down from anyone. I don't care who you are. And so in my mind, tears was a sign of weakness. Tears was a sign of, oh, what you crying for? You cry, baby. Tears was that to me. And if I have to put on this brave face, and if I have to put this armor on to show that I'm not weak, because of where I was raised and who my parents was, that's what I did. And so I've learned to take the armor off. And it's so crazy because I watched to my skin that I didn't even know where to begin to take it off. I didn't even know how I could take it off. And only thing that I could do was just be with myself and talk to myself. I didn't necessarily go to therapy. Myself was my therapy. My reflections was my therapy. My journaling was my therapy. I couldn't afford a therapist, so I took time to journal. I took time to just color, praying, talking out loud, allowing myself to feel as if like I'm talking to a friend. And it allowed me to be in a space to where I was open and free to just let it all out, to just let all of the pain that I was holding in out. And it allowed me to do this without judgment, without having someone look at me and say, you okay? Like, you cool? Or try to put me on medicine, or try to, you know, keep me, I guess, in a space where I think like, oh, she's crazy. No, I just got a lot going on. And I don't have no one that continuously comes and checks on me. I don't have no one that genuinely actually cares but me. And so I had to learn how to be in those spaces to where I had to understand that just because I love you and just because I give myself the way I give myself to you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do the same thing for me. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to show up for me the way that I'm showing up for you. And I couldn't understand that, because I'm like, dang, I'm here for you, like top 10. But when I'm going through something, it's shoulders being shrugged, and it's, you don't really care, and it's, oh, it's too much, I don't want to hear it. But when another person has something going on, I'm open ears and I'm listening and I'm attentive. And so I guess that type of pain allowed me to show up for my children how the way I would show up for myself. It allowed me to be in a space to where I no longer looked at another person to love me the way that I know I could love myself. I didn't look for another person to make me happy. I choose to make myself happy. I don't look for another person to, make me feel loved or make me feel confident. I look in the mirror and I tell myself I'm beautiful. I woke up every single morning for the past 3 years and told myself that I was beautiful in the mirror. And now when I look in the mirror, sometimes I still say it, sometimes I don't, but when I look in the mirror, I just smile because I still have that repeated thought inside of my head. I am beautiful. I am gorgeous. I'm beautiful. And it doesn't matter if you don't think that. It doesn't matter if you agree with it. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I behold everything that I possess, which is me. And so I continue to walk with my head held high, even though heartbreak is a stinging pain in the ass. It's one of those things to where when you want to find someone, or when you're thinking about dating, or when you're thinking about being in a space to where you just want to open up your heart again, it pops back up out of nowhere and it reminds you, hey, you remember that? You sure you sure? You're positive you want to do this again? And it's just like, yeah, I'm positive, but let's move with caution. Let's tread lightly. Let's not go over heels, baby. Let's tread lightly. So I guess for those moments, it allows me to be in a space to where it allows me to teach my kids how to continue to stay secure within themselves, and also continue to just not care about what anybody else think. And if pain comes, pain comes. If it tries to show up, it just shows up. But we know how to deal with it. We know how to fight it. We know how to battle it. We know how to keep it moving. I know I just had an encounter with my baby dad and his sister, like, and all I did was just stand there because I don't have y'all to do. I just don't. It's just ignorance. It's ignorance to me. And for me, this type of pain is always in my face. And I will talk about that story like a little bit. I guess probably depends on where 1, 2, 3 leads and 4 leads. But it's reminding me every single day, all because I have children with this individual. So every time I see that person, it makes my stomach hurt. Like, it makes me be in a space to where, like, I don't want to harm them. And I don't want to like punch him. I mean, those thoughts do come across my mind. You know, like one day I can just be sitting in the car and he probably walk by and I envision myself pressing the pedal and just running him over. That's an emotional outburst. Yeah, that's an emotional outburst. But I have those moments. But you know, my actions allow me to not act on those. But I mean, pain is reminding me every single day because I have to continuously see this person. And then the co-parenting is not good. You know, it's messy, it's dirty, it's a mess. And right now, I don't know, you know, how I'm moving forward with this situation. I don't know if I even want him around my children anymore. I don't know where I'm at mentally with the whole co-parenting situation because I feel like there's one parent and then there's one I guess sub-parent, you know, like a parent that pops up when he says, hey, I think I want to go see my kids today, or pops up and be like, you know, hey, it's a birthday, or hey, it's a Christmas. But if I'm asking for too much at once, is let me back, I got other kids, you know, I got other kids I got to tend to, so it becomes something like that, and it becomes this thing to where like you don't want to continuously keep dealing with it. And you don't want to continuously keep putting your mental under this strain of pressure because you're not fully there. I'm teaching everything. I'm helping with homework. I'm the full-time parent. So when a person says to me responsibilities is on the top of my list. Responsibilities is the very thing that I continuously do every single day. When I go to sleep at night, I don't go to sleep with food on my mind. I don't go to sleep with, you know, oh, I like this dude. I don't go to sleep with, you know, oh, you know, what kind of shoes I'm going to buy tomorrow. I go to sleep with what type of money can I make to support my children. I go to sleep with, dang, I hope, you know, she gets over this cold. When they get sick, I'm there by their bedside. When, you know, when they have outbursts and they're sad, I'm right there to tend to it. So my responsibilities is my children first, because I'm constantly in their face. I'm constantly putting those band-aids on those wounds and also applying that medicine. So I can't comprehend what a childlike mind, a grown-up, is trying to come at me and be like, because it's hard for me to understand it. And I don't know how co-parenting even exists in my lifestyle right now. And it's hard because I'm trying to, and it breaks my heart. And I know it's like, dang, aren't y'all like, it should be, no, everybody is on the outside looking in, and don't nobody fully know the truth behind everything, because no one has ever asked me anything. It's all based on what this other individual says and what this other individual has going on. But I keep everything to myself because I'm not that type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ask, I'll spill. You know what I'm saying? Depending on, how I'm feeling that day. But I'm not a gossip type of chick. I'm not that person to sit around and bash someone. If anybody's going to bash anyone, I'll bash it to that person's face. So, I've just always been that type of person. So my heart and my pain and the things that I got going on right now allows me to continue to show up as a mother, It allows me to continue to show up as a woman. And it allows me to continue to keep going and embracing these moments that I never thought I could really do, as when I got pregnant at 19, walking across that graduation stage. So I'm proud of the woman that I am today. I'm proud of the woman that I'm becoming. And I don't allow stupidity or the same type of ignorance that I endured as a teen try to come into my adult life and try to make me feel like I'm doing it wrong, when I'm the only one that's really fully doing it. Even if I'm laying in the bed and I'm watching TV and they're running around the house and I say, hey, go clean that kitchen, or hey, go clean that bathroom, I'm teaching responsibility. Or if I say, hey, put them clothes in the wash machine, I'm teaching responsibility. Because I'm not finna be washing your clothes and washing your dishes for the rest of your life. I'm not finna be that mom that has cleaned your room since you was 18 years old. What is that teaching you? I'm not finna follow you around the world, baby. Go live your life. I'm not finna do. I don't care if you is going through depression. I went through depression. Suck it up, fight through it. You need to come home for a little bit, you come home. But I'm not finna be that mom that cripples my child inside of this world, because there's no reason behind it. And then you start to wonder about all the things that that put you in those positions to make you have to figure out how to overcome that pain, when in truth, pain is going to continue to stay there, because pain is your teacher. Pain is that nervous system that reminds you every single time on how to move and how to receive and also how to react. So pain just allows me to continue to grow and to continue to show up as a mother the best way that I can, because pain is just simply pain, baby. That's all I can say on that part. It says, the silence after heartbreak when no one sees the struggle. Ooh. Tears. Tears in talking to the walls. When I say talking to the walls, I mean yelling and letting out your emotions, because that's what I do. I have to let it out. I would sit here in the middle of my bed and I will vent out loud to what it is that's surrounding me. And then the next morning I get up and I clean up, because I just spilled all this funk all over the place. I'll get up and I'll clean it up, clean my room, mop my floors, make my bed, pull out all this stuff, and then throw it in the trash. That's my silence. That's how the way I get through those struggling times. When people continuously see you smiling, and it's called the poker face. I call it the poker face. When people continuously see you in this space to where, like, I'm just glad to be a woman. That's it. Like, yeah, I gotta stay with the kids. Yeah, I gotta do this. I'm just glad I'm a woman, because it can be way worse. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just grateful for, certain things. And I try to just be in spaces to where I look at the positive versus the negative. And I think that's how we can attack shame. Is just being in a place to where we have our negative, yes, but being able to battle it against it with the positive allows us to be more victorious and allows us to continue to just like go and get your ass out there. Do it. You want to find somebody, get your ass out there, but hey, don't rush it. So I think it be those moments, but don't rush healing, because I do tend to do that sometimes, and that is what I'm working on. Rushing healing, because you do get tired of like continuously saying the same things, continuously trying to pour the same affirmations, and you do get tired of just like, the whole reflecting thing, like, okay, yeah, I know I fucked up, so I'm tired of me to say it, but it's good. It's goodness healing, but it allows you to not go into another relationship or another circumstance or situationship or for time making the same mistakes, like trying to recreate that whole cycle. Okay, so the camera went dead, y'all. So I don't went in there, took my hair down, about to get to bed, everything. But I wanted to come on here and also just share these last affirmations with y'all, and then we will get into part 2, probably beginning of next week. But here are 4 affirmations for y'all. I allow myself to grieve without judgment. Please do so, okay? My pain does not define me; it shapes me. Do you understand? I survived moments I never thought I would. Trust me, you have. And the last and not least, I was okay that I wasn't strong every day. You're going to have weak moments. And you're going to have moments to where you feel like, I can't do this. It's hard. You're going to have those moments. But trust in yourself, believe in yourself, and continue to keep pushing forward. And don't allow your pain or your heartbreak to stop you from becoming the best version of yourself. This is Talisha with Raw Woman Energy. Tune in next week for part 2 as we dive into the in-between version. That is part 2. Moving on, the in-between version. How moving on in the in-between version is pretty hard, okay? So we're going to talk about that and kind of do a little bit of reflecting on also my past as well. But this was part 1, which was called HeartBreak. But yes, y'all, tune in and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me, how have you dealt with heartbreak? How have you, what were some of the affirmations that you used? What were some of the tactics that you used? What were some of the things that made you feel like you can continue on through the heartbreak? Because us as women have to understand, baby, heartbreak be real and it be hurtful and it be, ooh, I can't stand it. It be one of those. Like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much.